Internet brethren of mine, this is a very, very special treat. We are going to be in the eSpot Billiards and Arcades Live LAN tournament hosted by Team TQ, and it is going to be awesome as you're going to be watching csoAnemone, finalist of the last TQ Live LAN tournament, and it's going to be great to see this Protoss player go up against one of TQ's own, tQSpeake, strong Terran player showing great bio management in the last game. I am tQzander, and along with me as always is...
tQAtticus, and again, I'm glad to be here, and thank you again to eSpot's Billiards and Arcades for sponsoring this tournament. They really are a wonderful venue, and I am entirely jealous that I cannot live in whatever homeless condition just so I could be close to Vancouver so I could go there. I would live in a supply depot. I really would, just to be close to Vancouver and our sponsor.
Oh yeah? I would live in a burrowed supply depot.
I would live in a roach warren.
Oh. Alright. You like it more than I do.
Alright, and again we have tQSpeake, one of our wonderful TQ clan members, really good player, up against Anemone, very solid Protoss that loves his robo-base.
He really does. He goes for them ASAP. Even before Warp Gate, before getting a Stalker, before getting a Sentry out, it is his first 100 gas goes to a Robo.
Yeah, and he's been showing it to be very effective, more so than a lot of people believe, generally, Robos to be. But, or rather early Robos before additional gateways, I should say. But that last game really was just lost due to poor unit positioning and misdirection. Very well done by Speak.
Yep, I am definitely going to end up actually talking to Anemone about his early Robo play later on, see how he actually goes about it, what makes him go for it, what makes him go for something else depending on what he sees, because I want to steal this.
That's so pro. You're doing interviews.
If by interviews you mean, Anemone, tell me your secrets now. Yeah.
Alright, nothing too serious. Of course, the builds are starting off very normal, as they usually do. No cheese. I really enjoy these tournaments because people typically tend to calm down, not do the cheesy all-in base play, or one base play for that matter.
Yeah.
Although there's a rather intriguing symptom of a lot of well, I shouldn't say intriguing. It's fairly explanatory. A lot of players get so nervous for a tournament game, then they hype themselves so much that once they get in, they're like, "Oh, I got a six pool."
That does happen.
They throw everything out the window and just cheese as hard as they can.
Oh, it's so sad to see that.
Hmm.
All I know is that one of my good StarCraft 2 friends on here that I had talked to, he's just so nervous about laddering. He's really high in the match league and everything. But he's like, I feel so nervous. I gotta create 4-gate. I gotta cheese. I gotta get up there. And it's really funny to talk to him because he's actually a strong player, just all around, and that's how he feels. Like, oh my god, I'm in this. I'm getting this high. I'm at this points. I can't lose points. It's just funny. But we actually have a different thing happening from Anemone. 3 gateways, no Robo.
Yep, looks like he's going to be doing a more traditional 3-gate expo.
Which is going to be very interesting. That's something I always am interested about in close position Metalopolis, is do you want to fast expand? Do you want to put pressure on? How you can actually keep your fast expand safe if you go for it because there's so little rush distances.
That really, especially in PvT, is the crux of the problem. It's not when you decide to fast expand, or if you do at all. It's how you keep it alive. 3-gate expo, I would say, is a little bit weaker depending on composition. I mean, if you pump sentries and get a lot of good force fields down, it'll keep it safe. But that's situational. Overall, strategy-wise, I'd say 3-gate expo is a little bit weaker in close positions, but that window is still pretty small.
Yeah, there's always ways to sort of get away with everything, but it's always frustrating when it depends on a mistake of your opponents, which can happen with any fast expand.
Yeah.
And although Speak is going for a fast expansion of himself, 2 racks fast expand, 1 rack with a reactor on it, the other one with a tech lab.
Yeah, and so this will work out pretty evenly, as, like I was mentioning earlier, we have a high sentry count for force fields, which, if done correctly, should be able to hold off 2 racks aggression.
Yes, definitely. In this case, I actually get 1 zealot only to tank the first couple hits, and then I use force fields and guardian shields to deal with everything else.
Yep, and you said it well, as that's exactly the composition that he has.
hmm And yeah, so sweet. I'm glad to know that I do the right thing. And
Anemone focusing on a little bit of aggression, going to the ramp of Speak.
yep, there is leading with the zealot. Very good job, but he's gonna have a little bit of an issue with that bunker over there.
Yeah, he gets a little bit of sight up there and knows that he immediately needs to pull back.
Yeah, we have two bunkers that have completed. Speak is now completely loaded into those. He might want to actually unload his marauders and put in the marines to keep the marines a little bit more alive. It's not a huge deal, but it's going to be just to
Well,
contain right
yeah,
now.
exactly. As we can see him spreading out units a little bit.
Ah,
Yeah, just catching whatever units he can. He knows that he's really these troops are just here to kind of keep the expansion from happening as long as possible. As he's not, there's no way he's going to be dumb enough to push up the ramp. Whoa, but he's losing. Gonna lose the sentry.
ah. All
Let
right.
go of him a little bit.
Oh, look at this. I think Speak might just charge down the ramp right now. I think
Yep, he's going to have to.
he wants the expo. There's few enough units, and Nemi's gonna have to be watching it really, really efficiently to see what's going on. But look at that, Speak seeing if Anemone is so ready if he just blocks off the ramp right away, and Speak wants to move out.
Yep, it was going to be a difference in decision between whether or not he just keeps force fielding the ramp to force the ability to not move down. And yes, we see that he's renewing the force fields. Knowing that he doesn't have that many units there, really, it's a very soft contain. And if he didn't split units coming down the ramp well enough, he would just completely lose those units altogether. So
Yeah.
just instead opting to completely keep the ramp.
Yep, and very good from Anemone is that he's scouting with both the watchtower and that bottom base. He is seeing if Speak decides to float off his second orbital command and just go directly down into the base down here. So this is incredibly good on him because Anemone is watching everything else. So while he techs up, he now has 5 gates. He's getting a Forge up. He's getting a Twilight Council. He might be going straight to Templar right now.
Yep, and Speak still content to just continuously produce. This is going to start putting every second that passes now. Oh, now he
There it
moves down
is.
the ramp and no force fields.
Oh yeah, so that's going down. Good move by Speak. He's actually going to push the front right now, but it's going to be rough to deal with. He did just stim. All his units are in the orange or the red, the yellow or the red. I mean,
Yep,
so
with no
one,
Metavex to speak of.
yeah. He's going to have to control this perfectly, but there's no charge. There's another stim going down, but good force fields. He's going to actually be able to do a lot of damage, get a good concave, deal a lot of damage. Great control, controlling our units separately, not doing everything in the same control group. Going
Oh,
to kite
beautiful
all
marine
those
splitting.
zealots. Great control, but there's just so much more coming from Anemone that he's going to be able to stay alive simply from being able to completely warp in more units. All the units from Speak have almost no health. Probes are getting kills in here, and now Speak is in a really bad spot. Anemone did such a good job earlier on with the force fields. He did so well just preventing Speak from doing anything.
Yeah, that battle that definitely should have gone a little bit better for Anemone, but the control from Speak was just so good. The Marine and Marauder splitting really made his units as effective as possible.
Yeah, so definitely making his units worth what they are. You can even see in the units lost tab that it's greatly in favor of tQSpeake.
Yep, that was very good control.
Yeah,
And now Anemone's going to push back again.
yeah, and he does have all these units. He's getting proxy piling up, and this could be good for him. However, the fact that
Oh,
Speak does have both medevacs. Oh, guy's gonna go for a
oh,
drop.
he's going to see the medevac. Should have
Is
seen the medevac, but
yeah, I
he's
don't think. Oh, but no,
not going to do
Anemone's
anything about it.
Anemone did not see it. He did not look at the minimap at that time. But this is bad for Speak, actually, because Speak does not have enough to defend his main. If Anemone pushes out now, which he should, oh, he might just go for
Yeah,
a
he could
counterattack.
really just waltz up the main. He could ignore the bunkers entirely.
He really could.
Here
Speak
comes the
does.
drop. Speak.
There it is. In the natural expansion, he's going to drop. There it is. First unit down. Okay, units are now down. Stimmed on them. And now Speak is just going to go into the main base. But look at this. Anemone's pulling back his whole army. Oh, Anemone. He's got to be thinking that Speak has more than Speak actually has because he lost so many units before. Charge is now being researched. We do have the Robo coming down. Where is that medevac? There's the medevac. Going to take a few hits from those stalkers. And it looks like Speak just dancing around with his medevac.
Yep, trying to avoid the stalkers as long as he can. A little bit pinned down, but that definitely kept any aggression off of Speak. Very smart play. The medevac super vulnerable, but considering the fact that it actually got to his base, it was that kind of distraction. That was exactly what he needed.
Yeah, so
Or
good.
it was the kind of distraction that he needed.
Yeah, and now we have good control from Speak again, taking out a few units from Anemone, not taking any losses, but he's about to lose his entire medevac and all those units. Medevac goes down, couple units are going down. This Stalker is going to stay alive with 4 health. We've seen like a couple different Stalkers all staying alive with exactly 4 health today. That's so weird. Right? Am I crazy?
Definitely, I would completely agree with that. A forge finally going down and upgrade starting for Anemone. A little bit late, but that is perfectly fine considering the amount of aggression that's gone back and forth.
Yeah, so I think today's the day to be a Stalker because you'll just stay alive.
Hmm.
Unless you're blinking into much tanks.
And Speaky pulling back. Speaky. It's always that extra E at the end. Speaky v Anemone.
Alright, well, Anemone does have a lot of Zealots out, and they do have charge.
Hmm. Charge lots definitely becoming again another popular strategy to use against Terrans.
Yep.
Realizing that, oh, if my zealots get close enough to the Marines and Marauders, they die pretty quick.
Alright, so now we're going to see how this actually going to shape up. Very large gateway forces moving in. There we go. The bunkers are not being utilized by Speak. That's going to hurt him a lot. And there he is finally putting units in there, but you can't repair them with the force fields. Great force fields. Speak does have a ton of units, so he's going to be able to stim and do a lot of damage, which he is doing. So now Anemone is being pushed onto the back foot right now. Marauders with concussive shells doing a lot of damage. Now Anemone's going to have to use these charge lots and everything to break through, but there are Infernal Pre-Igniter Hellions out right now.
Huge control problem from Anemone, and yes, that just cost him the game. There were several stalkers and sentries just attacking the refinery or the command center and not participating in the battle whatsoever. And so, considering that many units lost and really nothing dead from Speak, that just allowed him to completely bowl over the proxy pylon and win the game.